Ta-da! There I am. All right. That's still me, right?
You look younger today, sir.
Which one do you prefer, the beard or without the beard?
The beard. The beard.
Even I prefer the beard. All right. So, no, let me carry it out. So what are we doing today? Let's load our virtual environment. Let me share my screen so you see what I'm doing. Share screen. There you go. All right, so our virtual environment would be our VM VirtualBox. I say yes. And that is loaded. We already prepared our server and our client for our domain. You remember? Do you remember the name we called our domain controller? Do you remember the name we called our domain controller?
DC5.
Yes.
DC5. So I start DC5. So we also created a client, right? Do you remember?
Client 1.
Call the client 1. So we take client 1 and we start that computer. So the two computers, the two machines that we have on our domain are getting started right now. All right, so at this stage, begin to watch your language, begin to use the right terms. So I'm taking it slowly so that it sings. So I have both machines loading. How do I know this is my server? DC5. So I recognize that by the name DC5, domain controller 5, and client 1. All right. Server is loading, client is loading. Both client and server form our domain controller. So when you say, I'm trying to get my client server to work, I don't know what you're talking about. If you are referring to server, call it server. If you are referring to domain controller, call it domain controller. If you are referring to client, call it client. It's the network that these virtual machines form together. It's that kind of network that is called client-server network. Or more generally accepted name would be the domain. All right, so how do I log in here? Remember, input, keyboard, control or delete. Why don't I just press control or delete on my system, on my keyboard, instead of going through that route? If I do, it will control my host computer, not my virtual machine. Yeah, this is revision for some people, but people are just learning this. So I'll say my password. Do I remember my password for this machine? I think I do. All right, so I sign in by pressing enter. That's for the domain controller. For the client, I go to input, control or delete, and I do password. All right, my client is loading as well. Any questions so far?
Question.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Kanayo.
Right.
I just need a clarification because today is my first day anyway. So I went through the first video, which shows how to install a virtual box and load the OS on the virtual box. Then what I want to ask, this continuation, the second and third video has where you do the configuration of the client and the domain controller. It has it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So watch the
Fine.
second and third video, and then you'll be up to date and be able to follow what we're doing here.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. All right. So we have our server loaded, our domain controller. And then, of course, by the way, what's the difference between a server and domain controller? Don't worry about it. Maybe I haven't taught you that specifically. All right, so we have our domain controller. What we are doing today is we already have a domain. We have set up our client server network, like I told you. As a network person, you have completed your work, your infrastructure is ready. So what we want to begin to do today is administer our network. In other words, we are starting network administration today. Network administration. Yeah. That's the way you understand it. All right. Virtual background. Put that there. All right. So I started network administration today. So do network administration. You administer your network from the server, not from the client. So this is our server. Do you see our server?
Yes.
All right. So let's go. You have just been employed in this company, and the simplest form of work your IT manager can ever give you is to say, Team Ike, Jim Ike, Tim Ike. This is our new staff. His name is Abaton. Please go ahead and create an account for him on our domain so he can have access to our network resources. That's the simplest form of work. All right, you say yes, sir, and then you don't have to go with Abaton. You just get basic details about was that Abaton or Tim Ike? So you get basic details about the new staff, and then you go to your domain controller, and then this is what you do. You go to tools. Okay, that's fine. All right, so you go to tools and you take Active Directory users and computers. Active Directory users and computers. And then you click that, and here you see Active Directory users and computers and all the stuff therein. What you want to do, of course, take a closer look, click them one by one to understand what they mean. But essentially what I'm showing you here is users. And then you see that there are already inbuilt users. They came with the system. You did not create any of these users. They are just there. They came with the system. Again, click them one by one and try to understand what these users do. Domain users, domain guests, domain controllers, what do they do? Apparently not just users, active objects generally. By objects, we mean both users, not just users, computers, and services on the network. They are all referred to as objects. All right, let me not digress too much. So we'll come back to users, we'll right click and we say new. New what? New user. And then what's the name of this new staff that we are creating account for? What was the name? I forgot. Okay, don't worry, let me use my name. So I say my surname, Aregbe Shola. I don't have initials, Akin. And then I say full name, Akin Aregbe Shola. What would be my username? My username on this domain, on this client server network would be A Akin, if that's the policy. If the policy of the company is use the first letter of the surname and then the first name. Usually that's how it goes. And then you click next. And your password, let my password be anything like daily 2020 ash. And then I say daily 2020 ash. And then I say user must change password at next logon. I say click, finish. Now I have created account for that new staff daily. And if I click through users, if I scroll through and I look through, I'm going to find some account there called daily that I just created. Where is it?
We created direct version.
It's like direct version.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. I created A Akin, sorry. All right, so let's look for A Akin. Okay, so that's it, I think. So let's extend it. So I have yes, you are right. I created Akin Regbeshola and the username for that account. Could you help me write that down so I don't forget? A Akin. And the password. Do you remember the password I assigned to that user?
Daily 2020 ash.
Sorry?
Daily 2020 ash.
All right. Please remember that. I won't remember. I'll ask you. All right. So that is the, what is it again? So that's my user account. All right. So before I attempt to manage my account in details, let me first of all go to my client machine from my office and log in as this new staff. So this is my server room, probably on the ground floor or on the 7th floor of the building. Meanwhile, the new staff is on floor 3. So he goes to floor 3, starts the computer on his table, or in this case, the virtual machine from his remote site in Nigeria. And then he says, where are we? So he's trying to log on here. What's this? I don't know what I'm seeing. All right, so we scroll down, go to Windows that I'm familiar with. And then I say, oh, okay, I know what the problem is. Now, this machine is logged in. Let us log out, first of all. You see what you see now, take note of what you see. Then let me log out. And then let me restart. Let me restart the system. Now, this is the client. The client can work in one of 2 ways. The server can only work as, when I say server, pardon me, I actually mean the domain controller in this case. It's also server because it's also the DNS server, the DCP server, and the ADDS server. But more specifically, I want you to get used to the term DC, domain controller. All right, so the domain controller can only work as server in one way, but the client can work in one of 2 ways. I'll show you how. The client can work either as a standalone system that will allow you log in locally, or let me maximize and move these things around so they don't distract me. All right, so participants. All right. So this is what I want to show you. This is what I want to show you. So I scrolled. Let's reduce this. All right, now I can see. Now, you can log in either as hacking to this local computer, to this local client. You have nothing to do with the domain. You are just standing alone. Nobody, you are not connecting to anybody. Or you log in as other user. In other words, you'll be using this machine to connect to the domain as a client. Do you see it? Either to the local machine or as a client in the domain. In this case, what we want to do is log on to the domain as a client using the account that was created for me. So what's my username for this account? My username for the account is, you remember what's my username? Unmute yourself to answer.
A Akin.
A Akin. A Akin. And then my password.
Delete 2020.
Delete 2020 hash.
Okay. All right. So I do that and I press enter. So it's successful because it says this user password must be changed. It says user must change. You remember we clicked user must change password at next logon?
Yes.
So that's why it's showing us this user's password must change before signing in. But the fact that it allows that means that it was successful. All right, so that's my old password. What's my new password? Don't know.
Delete 2020 hash.
No, that was the old password. Now I'm trying to enter a new password.
Fine.
The reason for this is so that I do not hold anyone responsible for any atrocity, any breach of policy done in my name. So I am the only one who knows the password to my account. So if money was moved or any security policy was breached, I will not have any reason to say somebody else did it. It's me. So only me knows my password. So this is a security measure. So what should be my new password? I don't know. Let me try. No, it won't allow this because it fixed my name. All right. I hope I remember that. Oh, you write down this new password. So we need to log in later with it. My new password is Darren with capital D. It's not even working yet, so I can't give you. So what's my current password? Current password is Delay 2020 hash. My new password. Okay, don't worry. All right, that's simpler. All right, I think I got it now. So let's go. The password you entered did not match. What do you mean did not match? Is my cast on? Anyway. So this is it. This is what you would face, but don't worry. This is simple. I just need to calm down. Calm down. So what's my current password again?
Delete 2020.
2020 hash. Okay, so I'm picking them one by one. What's my new password? The 2020 hash. That was the confirmed new password. Okay, so let's see where the problem will come from this time because I was very careful. All right. All right, your password has been changed. So I have done my first assignment as the new network administrator. Of course, as the new trainee network administrator. So I've been able to create account for our new staff, and the new staff has been able to log in successfully. All right, while that is logging in, because the first time it's logging in, so it's going to take a while to create the profile and do a lot of preparation. So while that one is logging in, let's look at our server. So back to server. You recognize this place? You recognize this place?
Yeah.
Hello, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so if I double click that account now, I can play around with stuff on this account. For example, I could say account. I could say user must change password at next logon again. I could do that. I could say user cannot change password, or whatever password I've given you, that is what you must use. I could do that. I could say, are you seeing what I'm clicking?
Yes, sir.
All right. I could say password never expires. Or I could say, well, this training is for 1 month. Therefore, stop password using reversible encryption. That's about security. Don't worry. Well, whether you worry or not, it doesn't matter. Password never expires. Account is disabled. This guy is, for some reason, you want to disable your account. If this was a paid course and you are owing, I'll come here and say account is disabled. Or in the case of corporate organization, your appointment has been terminated. Okay. So the first thing, of course, in the corporate, the normal IT policy is for the administrator to first of all click this before we come to your office to give you your termination letter. You must make sure your account is first of all disabled. Otherwise, once you get your termination letter, you just say, they want to try me, and then you go and do commit some havoc here. All right, so select smart card. This is if you want to use smart card. So people keep coming in and keep distracting me. Smart card, if you want to use smart card for your authentication, as we do here in the Western world. Account is sensitive. What's this? Account is sensitive. I cannot be deleted. Okay, you could click that if you don't want to ever mistakenly delete this account. Just scroll down. You don't have to know everything one by one. You are just administrators in the making. I don't want to bore you with. All right, but these are the basic things. These are the places your administrator will go to do a click. Many times you call the administrator to say, I'm having this issue or that issue. Account expires. So I could say, okay, this is a 1 month course. I will allow you to practice only to come on my domain and practice only for 1 month. All right. So in that case, I'll come here and I say, this account is active until, what's today's date? October? Until, for example, October 31st. I could just take any date. All right. And then once I click apply, whatever I have taken here would apply to your account. Okay. So I could also come here and say, oh, this account logged you out because of something I've configured. So you call the administrator to say, for example, in a bank, you attempted to, I'm going to show you where that is activated, but you are logged out of the account because you entered the wrong password maybe 3 times. And then this one will be checked because, you'll be logged out of the account. So you call the administrator or customer care or somebody who is responsible for unlocking your account. All he does when he double clicks your account name is unlock account. And then he says apply, and then your account is unlocked. All right. And then you could go further to say log on hours. From all computers, I say all computers. I must have clicked something. All right. So that's how to do that. Practice and get used to it. I can go back to that account and say the same Akinrebeshola, and then I will say account, and then I can do, did I click something here? Account is no. Let me just leave everything clear. All right. Okay, so I can go back there and say account, and I say log on to, no, not log on to, not log on to. In any way, you can use log on to say this user can log on to any computer on the network, or no, this user is restricted to log on to only these computers on the network. Why is it gray? Why is it not showing anything? Because there's only 1 computer on the network right now. There are not 2, and he's logging off from that computer. So if we had like 7 computers on the network, in other words, 7 clients, then we could say you cannot log on to manager's account, you cannot log on to MD's account, and MD's client, you can only log on to, then we can select those things. All right. Well, that's not what I want to show you. What I want to show you is this logon hours. Where's that? Logon hours. Okay, right here. Logon hours means if Akinrebeshola comes to work on Sunday, he should not be able to log on. I click the whole of Sunday and I say log on denied. See, it is log on denied. White means log on denied. and click the whole of Saturday and say log on denied. And then the MD sees that when people close from work on, even during the week, which is our close time is 4 o'clock, that after 4 o'clock, people stay behind to browse and do private jobs. I don't want that. So they report that to the IT director. IT director tells the IT manager, please implement some kind of policy to ensure that nobody is able to browse after close hours. So I select 4 o'clock till close, log on denied for everyone. So Akinregbe Shola, no, this is not for everyone, this is specifically for Akinregbe Shola. Akinregbe Shola is only able to log on Mondays to Fridays between this time and that time. All right? What's today? Tuesday. Okay, we'll still be able to log on. So I say, okay, if I wish. Do I wish? No. There are things I may want to do on Saturday and I'll not be able to do. I need. Log on permitted for all of them. So I bring it back. All right? Okay. And so on and so forth. So these are the basic things you can do with an account. Then remember to click apply and say, okay, for all the changes you made to take effect. All right, so that's the basic, the very fundamental role that a network administrator plays. So let's quickly log on to our client and see how we are doing to log on from the client. So this is our client, input, keyboard, that, and then we can now see, what are we trying to do here? What are we trying to do? Akinregbe Shola is logged in. Okay, that's fine. Remember, we logged in as Akinregbe Shola and not to the local computer. And then what's my password? Did I give you my password?
No.
I hope I remember that. All right. So the new staff is now able to log in from his remote server or his local server. Any question on that? Unmute yourself so that we can talk. We need to spend the next 5-10 minutes discussing what you just did.
Yes, sir. I think so far so good, sir.
All right, that's fine. Good to hear that.
Okay, sir. Question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I missed just the part before you created a new user. I missed it. My network went off.
No, I don't want to repeat that just for you. Watch the video later on. The ones
All right,
that you understand, ask questions on that one. Unless, okay, let me do that. Just where did you miss?
The part where you created a new user. When the screen came on again, I only saw a new user.
All right, let me quickly create a new user for your sake, but normally I don't do that. So, where is our server? That's our domain controller. Let's quickly create a new user. So right click. I can actually right click anywhere. It doesn't have to be specifically user. So right click and click new. New what? New user. This time I want to create for daily, and the username will be a daily. And then I'll say next. Password will be then I leave user must change password as next log on. I say next, and it's done. I've created the user. That's simple. I've created the user. That's simple. I want to manage the user. I double click the account. I go to account, and I can manage from here. What can I do from here? I can unlock accounts. What about the user calls me and say, administrator, I forgot my password. How do I recover the password? So I come here, same place, and I check for user cannot change password. I look for it here. It must be somewhere there. Account disabled. I can manually disable account like I already showed you. So I can reset password. That's the word. That's what I'm looking for. Reset password. Where is it?
I think we'll right click on the name.
Right clicking on the name is one way to do it. There are many ways to get to the same place. Anyway, but I could configure it to show here. Okay. I can configure it to show. All these other ones, they are not really too important for now. Basically, everything you are looking for will be on that account for me. All right. So as usual in IT, I know what I'm looking for. I don't find it. I look for different ways to just make sure I get there. But like you said, you could right click and get shortcuts to the things that you saw there. You saw disable account there, right?
Yes.
You can add to group from there as well. Look at it here. Member of, you can add to member of group or remove from group and stuff. So they're actually there, but the shortcut, the short way, another way actually, it may not be short, is to right click and just take what you're looking for here. So, of course, this is much simpler than going there. If that's what you want. You can delete the account completely. You can rename the account. The current trainee has completed or the appointment is terminated as a staff. So rather than creating a new account for new staff, you can just ask the new staff, what's your name? And rename this account to the name of the new staff because the old staff has gone. So reset password. So I'll just give you a new password. Oh, you forgot your old password? Okay. You are still on the phone with the administrator and he's doing this right here for you. This administrator could be they are not called administrators in banks. They are given their titles, but essentially it's what they do. Forgot your password? And I asked you all the questions to verify that you are the right person. I'm not setting this password for any wrong person. Then I can say your new password is okay. I don't really want to change password, but you can do it here. Okay. And then of course, you remember we saw unlock the user's account somewhere. You can also do it from here. All right. So these are the tools. These are the tools. If you leave me to use the tools, let me just show you where the tools are and what to do with the tools. It's now up to you to go and practice the use of the tools. So I already know how to use the tools. It's not for me to practice for you. Just go and practice them. You don't remember? Double click, right click. When you see them, you remember. By the time you do them 4, 5, 7 times, you remember the next time that, okay, this is what I want to do. This way it is. All right, questions? Let me maximize the video again. What's my video? Yeah, I'm taking your questions while I'm looking for my video. Who is marking my screen? Okay, did I share my screen with you guys? No, it shouldn't be. Yes.
This is Afis.
Afis, yeah. Afis,
Sir.
just your mic is not loud.
Can you hear me now?
There's no difference.
Can you hear me, sir?
All right, let's manage. Whoever hears you will repeat will tell me what you're saying.
Please, I'm facing one challenge. When I joined the class, I was trying to open my server. But the way the server opened, it wasn't full screen. But yesterday, throughout last weekend, I was working on it. It was fine and all that till yesterday. But today, when I joined the class and I was about to open my server, it wasn't open well, sir.
Okay.
I don't know if I can share my screen and take a look at.
Paste it on the group. Paste it on the group. Let everyone see it and help you.
Okay.
Okay, so questions. Okay, mute yourself now, since you are making this class boring for me, guys. You are not asking questions. This class is not interactive. I'm not enjoying it today.
Hello, sir.
And all I hear is that guy that's... What's my video?
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. You mentioned that one can enable the account to expire.
Yes.
My question is it the password that will expire or the account will be disabled after the expiration time?
What did you click? Let's go back there because there are two different things. No, it's not the part. Okay, let's go there. Users. Okay, for which account? If you are with us, you know that I'm attending to somebody now. So just save your question and then we can look at it. Okay, right click. Where were you talking about? So we are saying, so we could disable accounts, the complete account. So it depends on what if we are talking about account, if we are right clicking and modify account, then it will affect the account. But if we are right clicking and modify the password, it will affect the password. So for that one particularly, anything done here is about the account, not about password. Because we are under accounts here. Do you get it?
Yeah, this page that show account expire. If you enable like end of, what will happen? Is it the password that will be affected?
No, it's not password now because it's already showing you account expires.
Okay.
So it's the entire account.
Disabled.
It will be enabled for the second time.
Okay.
It will be disabled, of course, now. Is this your first class? You're asking...
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Is it the account will be disabled? That's what it means, not the password.
Yes,
it's clear now.
Yes. All right, sorry. So it's the account that will be disabled. The complete account, not just the password. If you want the password to be disabled, then whatever you are clicking and right-clicking should be about the password. Like when you said password expires, you remember we said something like that? Password never expire, or password like this one now. So that's specifically for the password. User cannot change password, that's specifically for the password. Yeah, your question is relevant anyway. So that's hey, okay, so all right. Let me take your question. Let me take your question now.
This has been here for days now.
I have created a new user and
the person asking question, you can unmute yourself now. I've muted everyone. If you want to ask question, unmute yourself now. All right. Ask your question now.
Okay. I just want to know under the user property, like we have them.
I can't make out what you are saying. There's echo, so much echo.
Sir, can you hear me now?
No. Next person, any question? Or okay, no question.
I have a
contribution. Question, contribution, just say anything, just say something. Where's my video?
I have a question, sir. Ilona,
all right, let me take your question.
Okay, sir. Can the administrator of the server, can he monitor the activities of the users real time?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Hello, sir.
Did you get the answer to the question?
Yes, sir, but I would like to know how.
Okay, we'll get there.
Hello,
so the administrator can do all things. There is nothing that the administrator cannot do. So, can the administrator Once you say, can the administrator, the answer to that question already is yes, even when I don't have what you are trying to ask. How does it do it? We'll look at it later. Then you said the administrator of the server. There's no need to put the server. Administrators are always about servers. So administrator. There is no administrator for client. Administrator is the right word, not administrator of the server. All right. Next question.
Hello, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Suleiman. I'm joining for the first time.
Okay.
I'm in Niger State, Nigeria.
You are not good.
My question is on automation. Automation.
Okay.
Yeah, like if a user forgot his password, how do you go about maybe allowing the user to reset his password without doing it? Maybe you have 3-4 users at a time that forgot their password. How do you go about doing it for them?
It's beyond Windows 2016 server. It's beyond this course.
Okay.
It's simple. It's very simple, but we'll do it in cloud. I mean, it's not really things that you do. It's part of the apps that you run on your platform to enable that. It's not like it's not a big deal, but it will make more sense when we'll get to cloud. We'll do multi-level authentication. So it's not just about entering password. Talk about tokens, hardware tokens, and how to integrate them. And then if you do not find your answers there are just protocols and services that you integrate on your platform to make what you're asking possible. It's beyond just Windows. All right. Online Rewaju Bank Butcher. We're still waiting. Any other person while Alan is preparing to answer the question? I thought he raised his hand.
I want to ask the question, sir.
Huh? Okay. Ada?
I want to ask the question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, I checked, I tried to check for jobs in Nigeria that requires that network administrators do. And then you see some requirements like must have Cisco certification and some certain other certifications, sir. Now, for somebody that is just getting to know about network administration, how do we break in without the certificates?
For somebody that's just coming into IT?
Yes, and doesn't have Cisco certification and all.
Okay. All right. Good question. Just coming into IT, you do not have certification. What's your background in IT? Your pre-IT background? What did you read in school?
Physics.
Okay, physics, electronics. So generally speaking, good question. Yes. Generally speaking, if you read courses like electrical engineering, physics, electronics, computer engineering, those core IT related courses, and then you go through some kind of training like this, then you may not need certification, ideally. You may not need certification because you already have a good foundation, a good theoretical foundation in IT, a very solid one, by way of, because of what you read for 4 years, for 5 years in school. However, if you are coming from a non-IT background or even a non-science background, and you are coming into IT, then you need certification to prove to prospective employers that even though I'm not coming from IT background, I have a non-IT background, I am now an IT person. Look at some certificate that endorses me and proves what I'm saying. All right, that's the ideal situation. So for you particularly, ideally, in Nigeria, it may be different. They may require that, because of the proliferation and the peculiar circumstances. They may want to maybe different, but here it's not really about certification. Here, like I said, certification is necessary if you are coming from a non-IT background and you have to say, you are a lawyer, how come you are? There must be that, your certification will bridge that place you are coming from to that place you are going to say, okay, I took time and this is to verify that I've actually gained the requisite skills and the theoretical knowledge to be what I claim I am. Then to be a network administrator, you do not need Cisco certification. You need Cisco certification if you want to be a network person. There's a difference between being a network engineer and being engineer loosely. No, a network person, a network engineer, and being a network administrator. As a network administrator, your job is around the operating system, Windows Server, basically, and more broadly, Linux network, Linux system administration. These are the two core focuses. These are the two focuses that make you a network administrator. But again, there is versatility everywhere. People are learning stuff. If it's the employer may decide to get somebody who is more versatile, who has these skills, this knowledge on top of networking knowledge. In that case, you'll be paid higher and more respected than somebody who has just the administration knowledge. I don't know if you know what I mean. So if you are strictly going for network administration, what you should have as a network administrator is not Cisco. You should have a good understanding of what we have done so far and what we'll still do on it. And then if you want to broaden your horizon and not just limit yourself to only Windows networks, then you want to also go beyond Windows to study Linux. So that way you're able to work with Linux. You are now able to work, for example, as a switch engineer for telecoms companies, because their servers run Linux, not Windows. The Windows we are talking about here, they run Windows servers for small networks of, when we say small networks, generally we mean networks that support 10,000 or less clients. We are talking about servers that support 20,000, 25,000, 1 million, 10 million, 20 million clients. Then Windows server will not do it. You need more robust servers like Linux servers. Within IT, we still refer to such roles as network administrators, even though the specific job will give it a big title like switch engineer, or just depends on the nomenclature. I once worked for as part of settling down in the US and doing what you call as part of the stages you have to go through to settle down. I once worked for a company called Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments will manufacture the motherboards, mini motherboards for automobiles. So what you used to call brain box, the electronic circuits that run for example, that will trigger what's that thing called now? The balloon that shoots out when you have accident. What is it called?
Airbag.
Airbag.
Okay, the airbag. For example, the small electronic circuit that will control that, and of course other operations around the car, we manufacture them. But back at Texas Instruments, very big company. In fact, it's a Fortune 500 company, very big company in Texas. And then I had the title of amongst many other people, were very many, nothing special. So don't let me paint myself. It was just an ordinary job. So my title was what was the title? Manufacturing specialist. That was the title. Give me 1 second. I just removed somebody because I saw that he was just using us to discuss with something else. He wasn't focusing on the trading. So let me look for somebody else right now. The fact that the training is free does not mean that just come here to play. All right, so are you still with me?
Yep.
Okay, so I was a manufacturing specialist. What a big title. So if I come to you and say, I'm a manufacturing specialist for Texas Instruments, it look like, wow, this is a big guy, nothing big there. What am I bringing out? I'm just saying that the company, the employer, the industry could call that position a good name, a beautiful name, but essentially as an IT person, what you'll be doing will be administering the network server administrator, or maybe network administrator. However, at the Cisco level, the difference is at the Cisco level, you know, the cabling and there's a router. There are routers manufactured by the most popular company in the world that manufactures routers and also switches. They are called Cisco here in the US. Head office in California. So when you have a network and you want to integrate this network with another network, with another network, with another, for example, typically you have a branch head office, for example, in the US, and head office in the US, in New York, and then the branch office in Lagos, another branch office in, where else? Another country. To link the branch office network to the head office network would not just be to connect to the internet. One way to do it is to connect to the internet and configure VPN, so that even though you are doing that on a public network, you are now tunneling through a private network to get to the public network. That's one way to do it. But the most popular way to do that is to introduce a router and configure the router. It's a bit complex, but broadly speaking, configure the router to take your packets and route it through the internet and not make it public, even while it's going through the internet, to deliver it to your head office. I don't know if you get the picture I'm trying to paint. So it is not at the level of, I am now sitting down and administering this network. No, it is at the level of, I want to connect one network to another network through a public path. So you have to tell, it is the router that knows how to pick the network, what protocol to tunnel the network through, how to encapsulate the packets so that even though they are going through a public network, they cannot be hijacked and decrypted along the path. And then when they get to the destination, how to ask for the private key to open it and get that info back. So the point I'm making, if I'm confusing you, is that routing is at the, CCNA is at layer 3. Network administration is not at that level. Network administration, you have an operating system. It's focusing on operating system. You have an operating system like a server, in a Windows Server operating system, and you are managing users. You are resetting lost passwords. You are disabling and enabling accounts, and they are doing stuff around what we just had a tip into today, but sitting in your office and doing stuff around operating system. If you now know that one on top of what you already knew in Cisco, it's a plus. but it's not. Cisco is not required. To learn to install, configure, and manage Cisco devices, which are broadly routers and now also switches, is not part of network administration. However, if you now build that one to be part of network administration, then you are no longer just a network administrator. You are now a systems administrator. And why network administrators are being paid like $30, $35 per hour, then as a systems administrator, you could be paid $60, $70, $90 per hour. Because you don't just know Cisco, you do not just know Windows administration and Linux administration, you also know layer 3 devices on top of that, so you are priced higher. All right, so that answer was specifically to Ada because he asked. For many of us, it's complex. You don't understand what I'm talking about, but you get it. Yes, Anne.
So my name is Anne Afamefuna. I'm asking, like, is it at that stage one have to like manage like site or plank, like start working that layer 3?
Is it at layer 3 that you manage what?
Like ARC site.
ARC.
ARC site.
What's ARC site?
Talking about HACK.
I'm not talking about arcing.
What are you talking? Spell your ARC. I don't know what you mean by ARC.
Okay. ARC.
ARC, yeah?
Then site.
Honestly, I don't know what that means. What's the meaning of that?
Okay, but you know about SIM, sir.
About what?
SIM.
SIM.
Yes, sir.
Spell your SIM.
SIEM.
10 minutes to go. Let me call Charity.
I'm not sure I know what SIM is. I'm not sure about that.
That is our system information enterprise management.
System information what?
Enterprise management.
Okay. So what under? No, that's a broad name that just tells us. Yeah, telling us how to manage systems within an enterprise. But what specifically are you referring to under SIM? I'm coming. Let me finish it.
Okay, you know, sir, people like someone can be employed to like, okay, you already know everything about ARC site and all that. You can be employed to like, okay, checking the security aspect, like that firewall wall aspect. You can be employed to like, okay, you'll be managing the log, you can be checking the log and all
log
that.
files. That's what you're
Let her
trying
finish.
to say.
Leave her. Just leave her. Yes, please carry on.
Like I mean, managing the log, checking people, preventing people from coming in and all that. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's a simple one. That's a very basic one. To monitor, they will have their own applications like Naugis and a couple of them. You learn that under DevOps.
Okay.
You load whatever app that company. There are a number of them. I have a trainee that used to use one of them, and he's telling us a new one has come out and it's more powerful than the other one in my regular class. So that's a simple one. No, at that level, you are just sitting down. That's under administration.
Okay.
No, you don't need Cisco to do that. Just load they already have their app for monitoring that they use as monitoring tool for that network. They already have it running. So yours is just to do what it's a basic. That one is basic. It's not complex. So your understanding of network administration at the level we're talking about it now will help you achieve that. The only thing you need to learn thereafter is get used. This is general now for Windows. They will now have their own app that will do stuff as they want it. So get used to that app. They will train you on. Not really training, because you're expected to have known it. They will just give you like a couple of days orientation on this is how we do it here. And then you can use that app. So to be able to be a network administrator, then we're talking about people who would work on people who work as switch engineers for telecoms companies. Mm-hmm. And that's why, you know, they are paid very well. They are paid very well. That's why they are paid very, very well. All right. So the other terms you mentioned, they are peculiar to one aspect of IT that I'm not a professional at. So that's why I didn't know what you mean. But when the other guy explained the full meaning, I got what you meant. All right, the next person to take your questions. Now, this class is interesting now, because there are one or two persons who do not really, who is benefiting, because it's actually what they want. Yes, take your next question.
My name is Ibe Timothy.
All right.
And I have a question. I'm new here.
Okay.
So I work in a university here in Nigeria where I'm an administrator.
Okay.
But I want to see how I can configure the systems within the faculty to ensure we eradicate paperwork and all of that. So we just have a local network where we can share files and all of that amongst ourselves.
Okay.
So I'm asking, am I in the right place? Because I really want to learn how to do that.
I don't know if you're in the right place. That's up to you to determine if you're in the right place. But as far as file sharing and what you have in mind is a project. So you are not bringing that project here for us to do for you. You do the project by yourself. Well, are you in the place where you can get one tool there, another tool there, know what and what you need to be able to harness all of these tools together to accomplish your project? I think so, but again, it's up to you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
We'll expose you to the tools that are available in Windows. If they are enough for you to, if you find those tools useful to be able to implement your project, fine. Otherwise, you may need to get the more Windows, to be honest with you, Windows, as we are covering it right now, may not give you all the tools you need for that kind of big project. If what I have in mind is what you are saying, then it's a big project. Windows by itself will give you some 30–40% of the tools you need, but you will need to go beyond Windows. In fact, you may need to go up to cloud to be able to see how to. In Windows, you will learn how to share files, but that will only be useful for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 users. For a university of hundreds of thousands of users, past, current, and future, you need a more robust architecture, and Windows may not be able to provide that architecture.
Okay, even though it's just within a faculty, not like
not the entire university, yeah. But again, the way you should approach the project would be, it should be expandable, because the faculty as you know it today may not be the same after you leave. So it should be such that your whatever you are doing would remain useful beyond you.
Okay, sir.
So don't just do a project that, it's working right now, everybody's clapping for you, I've done a great job, and then once you leave, then everything crashes and they are starting all over. No, it should be something that will last forever as far as it's an IT project.
Okay. Will it be in order if I should contact you privately for some of these tools, sir?
What you do now is gain as many tools as will be useful right now, and then practice. And then once in a while, you come across situations that you cannot handle by yourself, then you can ask, this is what I'm trying to do. What tool can I use here?
Okay, sir. Okay, I'll do that, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. All right. So thank you for bringing me back to the mode. So now let's go back to network administration. Let's go back to Windows. All right. Admin. Some people are waiting. Let me just bring them on board. All right. So who else is waiting? All right. So back to network administration. So we're in Windows. What Windows is this? This is the domain controller, right? All right. So let's go back to domain controller. Then we'll press input, keyboard, control, delete. And then we'll say, what's our password? What's the administrator's password? The administrator's password I will never forget. I know that. Or for the users. All right. So that's how to create account. What else should you learn to do? Right click. What about creating groups? So I can create a group here. I can create new what? New group. This is what, was it Sanusi that was trying to explain that? I can create a group and call it managers, for example, or trainees or something. If I say security group, it means that this group I'll use for security purposes. If I say distribution group, it means that all I want to use this group for is to be able to send emails to them as a group. So I want to send emails to all managers in this company. I just send to this group. It's different from security. Everything we'll be talking about, granting access, restricting access, password expires, you have access, is under security. The only thing that's different from security is sending mails at once. So of course, what's the use coming here? Is it to send me? The real thing we want to do here is security. So we'll leave it as security. Domain means it's restricted to this domain, only to the faculty, according to the project that the other guy was talking about. So it's restricted to the faculty, where the domain is the faculty name. And then global means to the entire university. And then universal means to the entire world. Even outside the university, it's applicable. What do you want to do? Let us make it global, it's okay. Well, usually you just leave this as they are. I'm just explaining what they do in case you need to change them. For most of the purposes you would have in mind, global and security will do. And then you say, okay, now that we've created managers as a group, what can we do? Again, we right click, we want, and then we say members. We can now make those two managers we created. Who are they? I think I'm too fast for you. Wow. You understand how we created the group manager? Yes. All right. Yes. So we can now right click manager and say add to a group. No, we don't want to add manager to a group. We want to add users to manager. So I don't see it here. Huh? Where is it? What do I do then? I look at it from property. So members, who are the members of this group? Member of, I want to join this group to become a member of another group. Managed by, who is it managed by? Of course, by, it's like setting the, when you set up a group in WhatsApp and you say the administrator, this like that. But the important thing is, I want to make, that's a good example. Like the Akinarigbe Shola group that we have on WhatsApp. That's what this is. This is a group. So to join members to this group, I go to members and I say add. So that's what I do. I first of all save your names as A1, A2, A3, 10A, and then I now add you. So I already created accounts for each of you. So the next thing I want to do is add you to this group. So I just click add and I say, how do I remember? Let me just remember something. Is there an account we call AAPIN? Okay, maybe I don't even remember the full name, but at least I know that it starts with AA. So I can say check names, and then to find it, that there is a name there's a username that starts with AA. I can remember. Okay, so that is it. Now I want to add another one. All right. So I've added Akinarigbe Shola as member to the group manager. Want to add another member? You click add. What's the other one? Daily, I can't remember. Let's check.
Daily AD.
Okay, so that's it. Correct. Thank you. So it's there. I just click add and I say okay. So now I have 2 members of that group. I say apply, I say okay. What's the use? Why are we creating group? Just for easy management. So I can now right click and like Sanusi tried to explain to us when he was trying to, when he was sharing his job roles and experiences, you can now manage these 20 members, 300 members, 500 members of this group centrally by dealing with them at the group level. And assign permissions and remove permissions like we'll do later. We'll see how this is done later. And this will be useful for the faculty project if you want to do it at Windows level. You can add or create a group for lecturers, or what they call them, facilitators, and then you can now grant all of them same permission instead of assigning them permissions one by one. So you can manage them together as groups. That's just the use of groups. Easy management, centralized management. Create the group and make users members of that group for central management. All right, so that's that. That's simple. Any question on that? No question, I guess. All right, what else can we do? New what? New computer. Nothing, no big deal. Okay, so we'll talk about shared folders later. And at that level, we'll be getting to the advanced stage of Windows. But for now, that's how to create groups. Okay. So that's it. Let me run through the curriculum and see if I'm missing something. I told you that by the end of today's class, you'll be able to do stuff. Let me look at that and see what I need to teach you so that you'll be able to do that. And okay, so give me 1 second. Share. Windows Server, okay. All right, so what are you seeing? See my Word document? Hello?
Oh, we only see the screen of the
Active Directory users and computers.
Okay, not my Word document.
No, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank God. Network infrastructure. Network topologies, we've done all that. So we're going to create backup DNS server, not today, but what should we do today? Okay, network administration. All right, so create user, create groups, add members to both security group and distribution group. We've done that. Create an organizational unit by right-clicking domain. Okay, so double click on user the
I have
group.
a question.
All right, so also go play around with moving objects. Oh yes. Give me 1 second. Let me just take a look at what we should be doing next. I want to teach you how to remove these, play around with moving objects between OUs. Okay, so the main thing I should show you now is create a new OU. And then users. And then take this. All right, so no big deal. These are network administration is so simple, so simple. There's no, I mean, at least within Windows. So maybe if you go to Linux, it might be a bit more challenging, but it's no big. Okay,
Hello.
so let me come back so I can take your questions. So what am I? Let me share my. All right, so I'm with you now. What's your question?
All right, so I was going to ask about the the administrator.
Okay.
Now, the administrator seems to have a whole lot of responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
It also seems to be the one checkmating, the other users or clients.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm wondering who checkmates the administrator?
Nobody.
And then what happens in a case of death? All the, like when he dies.
Oh.
Or isn't that possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
And then what happens to all the passwords that he has, the restricted information?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what happens in that case?
Oh, okay, good question. Good question. We'll talk about that for another 30 minutes. Okay, so the administrator is all powerful. It's all powerful. However, he's just like, I don't know, I have a best example, but I don't know if I can use that here. That's too religious. But there's somebody more powerful than the administrator, the company, the policy. So there will be policy in place that says, administrator, you are the administrator, you have everything. However, this is the company policy. This is the code of conduct. Every time there is a change in this, make sure it is reported here. Every time you do this, make sure it is done here. And make sure you always back up to some server. So by following that company policy, those issues you raised are taken care of.
Okay.
Yes. So make sure that at the end of every day, as part of your role, because you're also an employee, somebody hired you. So there's a policy, there's guidelines, there's a guide you must follow. At the end of every day, this is backed up to this is done this is this, and then there's a backup administrator. No, not backup administrator. Let me show you that place again. Now, are you seeing here? Do you see what I'm seeing here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's what are the users? There's administrator, all powerful administrator. There is default account, DHCP users, DMS admins, DHCP administrators, domain computers, those are domain admins, enterprise admins. So there are, even though there is one overall administrator, there are other small administrators responsible for different administrative roles under the administrator.
Oh,
so
okay.
I could say that DHCP users, no, DHCP administrators, I can decide, okay, Uyo, you are now my DHCP administrator. Everything relating to DHCP, I will not bother because I have trained you, you are now good, and that's what I'm going to do for my IT, for my interns. You are now good from now on. Oh, you don't have an account here. Okay, let me use daily, for example. Oh, okay. And check links. So I can say, let's assume that's your account here. I'll say you are now as far as administering the DHCP server and anything relating to DHCP is concerned, I have delegated that role, that responsibility to you. So there are many other small administrators in those capacities. So when you are resuming you are coming on board as a fresh administrator, you are not going to be the overall administrator. You'll be a trainee administrator or a lower administrator, even though they are, you can still call them administrator, at one level or the other. And then I think we'll look at group policy now, later on, and then you see where the company policies, even though they are on paper, they are implemented technically, and that is in place to check the administrator, so that if anything ever happens to the administrator, they can go and check those policies to retrieve whatever they are retrieving. So another way to do this in Linux, or in fact, that appears to be the answer to all the big questions you have, is for somebody else to create the administrator's account and password and hand the administrator's password over to the administrator.
Okay.
Especially in Linux environment. When I say Linux environment, I mean especially in network environments where millions of clients are involved. So even the administrator himself does not have the administrator's password. He has a password. What he has is a password that allows him to perform administrative tasks. He was made an administrator by the owner. So the person who is more powerful than the administrator is the owner.
Okay.
So there's always an owner, and that owner is created logically by company policies, even though those company policies are implemented technically by the administrator. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, okay. So a lot of things here and there, but overall, the administrator is only the Jesus Christ of the world. There is still a God that is more powerful than the Jesus Christ. If you understand that from the Catholic perspective, not everyone will agree with that, but just for people who understand. All right. So for that reason, you are going to come, when you come into Linux and bigger operating systems, and in cloud especially, your cloud, where's my video? Your cloud owner is going to tell you, now you have created the administrator's password. Throw away that password. Don't ever use it. That's what your cloud will tell you. That's what AWS will tell you. Don't ever use it. Now create another account for yourself and make yourself administrator. The owner, the one that has all things, throw it away. Don't use it. Don't allow anybody to use it. Just as a precaution to protect yourself against the issues that we raised earlier on, which are very vital issues when it comes to policy. So there are checks in place that would ensure that even though the administrator is all powerful, the board of directors or the owner of the company is still in control. All right. Questions?
I have a question, sir.
All right.
What you said just now, I discovered we have not done that for what we did when we were creating the domain on our server.
We have not done what?
That owner, the owner, that you said you have to create owner.
No.
Okay.
I said in Windows and in Linux. I kept saying Windows in cloud.
Okay.
I kept saying cloud and Linux and big networks.
Okay, all right. Sir.
Yeah. Okay, let me show you where that is. Even though that is not applicable in Windows, let me take you to a place in Windows where it's part of the training. It's something I wanted to show you. Where some of these things, some of these policies that I talked about, IT policies, that's what they're called, can be implemented. All right, so let's go there. All right, so let's go. What's our domain name here? Okay.
COVID-19.com.
Okay. What's this? You must close all dialog box. Yeah, close them all. No, I don't want to shut down. I just want to close this. All right, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
My DC5 running. So to get to that window, you click Manage Server, and then you click Tools, and then you click Active Directory what? Active Directory Administrator Center. These are mere repetition of what we already seen here. So don't feel that you are losing or
Active Directory user.
Yeah, this is where we are. This one would normally have somehow from here you'll be able to see what you should have seen from there. So let's just take this. Active Directory users and computers. All right, so we open this up. Active Directory, COVID-19. All right, right click. If you right click this, it will open up a set of tools that were not available when we right click here, when we right click to users. So when you right click the domain name, it's a different set of tools. So you can change domain, okay, from that domain to something else, but that may be too complex for you. You can delegate control, just play around. You don't, there are hidden things there, just play around. I don't really have to. What do you mean by delegate control? Come here and read it. All right, but what I want to show you here is new what? New organizational unit. Let us create a new organizational unit. Protect container from accidental deletion. I just say, if I press delete, it should not work. All right? So let us call this organizational unit trainees. All right? And say, okay. So we have created another organizational unit. So here we had built-in organizational units, computers as an organizational unit. In other words, even though I did not show you, now you should have known by yourself that computers means all the computers in this domain, all the clients, and even all the servers that are joined to this domain. Right now we have only one client. That's how I see only one client. All the domain controllers on this domain. Later on, you see, well, we may not even remember to come here, but know that in case you have more than one domain controller, you'll find all of them listed here. Okay, foreign, what was it? Policy and principles. Are we coming here later? Let me see. No, we are not. Managed services. Of course, users, this is the real thing that we'll be talking about. And now we have created a new one as well. All right? So how can you create, when they ask you these questions as interviews, I always tell you, they appear like very difficult things, but can you create organizational unit? What's organizational unit? As simple as this. Now you can right click your organizational unit, and then just like you did with groups, you can what can you do with organizational units? Because this is part of the assignment. You can create users. Rename, delete. Okay, so part of the work you will do is to try to delete this. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes. Why is it not working? Find out. It's part of the assignment I gave to you. You do not have sufficient privileges to delete. I created it, so why don't I have privileges? I already showed you the answer, but it's your assignment. Go and find out. Okay, so basically, organizational unit is saying, instead of creating a new user, for example, under users by right-clicking, and then when you create your users under users to show here, you can create an organizational unit, create users under it, and you'll be able to manage your organization, all your users under the organizational unit independently. What I mean, not really independently. What I mean is, just like you can control your users, you can control no, not control. You can manage a group of users by creating a group and making them members of that group. You can also manage even more effectively, like we saw here, group of users, group of computers, group of anything. Not group of anything, group of objects. Sorry, I have to use the right words at this time. Group of objects by making those objects member of the same organizational unit. All right. So if I decide to create a users now and make or even groups, group is an object, user is an object, even computer is an object within the Active Directory services. So if I decide to create this and create, I have many names. John Ade. So username will be Ade. You go ahead and create. It's really boring for me to keep creating accounts. So once you create 1 account, 2 accounts, 3 accounts, 4 accounts, anytime you now want to manage that organizational unit of trainees, you know where to come. So for example, assign all of them the same permission. That's the next thing we are going to do. How does this factorize, that's the mathematical word, our efforts to manage 50 users just by managing 1 organizational unit? For now, just know that this is how to create organizational units. By the time we start sharing and managing resources, you now see how easy it is for you to manage 500 users just by managing the organizational units. It is more powerful than groups. In fact, you can even make groups parts of your organizational unit. All right, so that's by the way. The real thing I wanted to show you was security policies, which is a new topic now. Where am I? Security policies. But before I teach you security policies, which is another very simple place, I'll just show you how to get there. I'll need to take like 5 minutes break to use to do stuff, to do something. But before I take 5 minutes break and then come back and show you security policy, which is the last thing we're doing today, so you can get time to practice. Let me take your questions. So the whole essence of creating groups and more importantly, organizational units is just for easy management. Just like you have files here scattered all over the place, and then you create a shelf and you bring all the files and you arrange them in the shelf so that next time you need access to file, you know where to go. That's proper management, easy management for efficiency. Instead of managing Active Directory objects separately, you go here, you click, you go there, you click, bring all of them together and manage them together as a unit, organizational unit, 1 unit, well organized. So simple. All right, question. All right, so do you know how to create organizational units? Yes. You know how to create a group? Yes. You know how to create user account? Yes. You know how to manage user account? Yes. Now, question time. Tell me 2 things. No, tell me 1 thing each. Just mention one is it thing? One role per person that you can perform with users as network administrator. All right, who is the first one? The first role, what can you do as network administrator? Yeah.
We can make them unable to change their password.
Who are them? Who is them? It's an interview question. So
the users created.
As a network, okay, let me rephrase the question. As a network administrator, what can you do? Interview question. I can do what?
I can create user and join them to domain and restrict privileges.
Wrong answer. If you were, is this your first class?
No, sir.
No, that's not good enough. After 1 week, after how many hours of training, that answer, I do not accept it. Oh yeah, if it was the first class, I'll say, okay, you are still learning. Ilona.
Yes, sir.
This is an interview for the role of network administrator. What can you do as network administrator? Oh yeah, I need to
the first thing is to create users.
There is no first thing. What can you do as a network administrator? This interview. First thing from where?
Okay,
I can
assign users.
I can assign users. Okay. Sanusi, what can you do as a network administrator?
I can assign a user privilege. I can manage my client.
The correct phrase for that one is I can create user. Ilona, I can create user. Yeah. Sanusi, you can, no, just one, because there are many people to answer. Don't answer people's questions.
Okay. I can unlock account.
Okay, user accounts.
I can unlock user account. Yeah.
User accounts. There are many kinds of accounts.
Password.
You are answering somebody else's question. I said answer one. I know you are so good. You want to give other people the opportunity. All right. So you can unlock user accounts. Good. That's good. What else can you do as network administrator?
Closer.
Yeah, just go on. What can you do?
As a network administrator, I can create groups to manage more users.
Stop there. Just stop there. Don't. So you can create group. Good. All right, next. Look where allow. What can you do as a network administrator?
I can reset user's password.
Correct. Afiz Obinde. Oh, Afiz. How are you doing? Afiz, we can't hear you. What can you do as network administrator? We can't hear Afiz. Who else? Whoever can talk. Oh, yeah.
I can disable a user.
Who is that? And you can do what?
I can disable a user.
You can disable users. Remove the A. Good. All right.
Anayo speaking.
Anayo, yes.
I can create organizational units.
Correct. Good. Anayo, thank you. No correction. You said it right.
The logon time.
You can what?
Regulate the logon time.
You can
log hours. Regulate the log on time.
Regulate. Okay. Log on time for who? For computers?
For the users.
So say it for users. Correct. All right. Good. Regulate log on time. Regulate is a good word. I've learned that one. All right. What else can you do as network administrator?
You can delegate other user, other admin.
You can do what?
Delegate other admin.
Delegate admin. Yeah. Other admin?
Yes.
Specifically, what kind of admin, so that we know the level of admin?
Maybe DHCP admin or enterprise admin.
Okay, good. That's a good one, because most people will not even think in that direction. They will just think about user. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes. What else can you do?
I can manage user accounts.
That's what we're talking about now. All these things we're talking about is managing user accounts. So what specifically?
I can create user and I can delete user.
Yes, we already know that. What else can you do? Something we have not heard.
I can disseminate information to clients.
Who are the clients?
User.
No, that's not one of them. Yes.
I can
Go
disable
ahead.
accounts.
Just go ahead.
I can disable accounts.
Sir.
Yeah.
Can we monitor the?
Yes, Anne. This is your monitoring. You have not left it.
Can we monitor the performance of like the users' account or like the computers?
Yes, I'll show you where you can monitor the tool that Windows have for you to monitor. Yeah, the log file. Somebody talked about log. I'll show you how you can see the log files. Yeah, the way to monitor is by Windows through log. Olumido, you don't have to raise your hand. Just talk at this time.
Okay, I can disable users' access to some services, like email services in the company.
Yeah, that's correct. You can do that, but you are not using the right term that tells me you are a network administrator. That's the only problem I have. Because when we ask these questions, we are just looking for the key terms, not the long English. I understand what you mean, but for interview purpose.
Like this, Let me reframe it like this: disable user access to mail.
Why mail specifically? Is it only mail that you can do?
Not just mail. Mail is one of the key interactive means of communicating with others in the company.
Okay, let's see if we can. Anybody can rephrase that in a way that.
I have said I can send a bulk mail. User access to network infrastructure.
Yeah, infrastructure. Infrastructure is not the best word. So bulk mail is not a technical term. Sanusi, your explanation was good, but infrastructure is not what you want to give them out. Infrastructure is basically the physical hardware. Network what?
Okay, what if I say network resource?
Yes, network resource is better than infrastructure. All right? Yes. What can we do? Olarewaju Bangushi. as network administrator, mention one thing that you can, this interview, mention just one thing that you can do that your colleagues have not mentioned.
I can also remotely support my users.
As network administrator? Yeah, what can you remotely support your users to do? So basically, that's what we're analyzing. You are saying you can do all of these things that you've been talking about. Yeah, network administration is mostly remote because you are not there with them to solve their problem. So you solve them from. All right. So not bad, not bad. Not bad. Well done. So let me come back now and ask you questions, and then we'll now talk about where you can see the log files in order to monitor from Windows, because all Anne is interested in is monitoring. Anything monitor. So we'll show you monitoring tools that Windows has, and then we'll show you other stuff you can do from there. All right, so let's take a 5 minutes break, and then I'll be right back.
Hello, sir.
5 minutes break. 5 minutes break.
Hello, sir. Why we are going for 5 break? My problem has not been solved.
What's your?
That's my server. I don't have a full screen of it. So
was it you, Afif, that had that issue? The problem was it you that? Eh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me share screen with you since it's Afif. How do I do that now? Yeah, I'll still need to go on break. Yeah, you share your screen if you have access. By the time I come back, we'll look at it. And whoever can look at it while we're on break, you can look at it. I'll leave you guys to be on while I do what I want to do. Yeah, share your screen if you can.
You have disabled it.
You've disabled it?
You have disabled participant screen sharing.
I really need to use the restroom. I'm just looking for my video to pause while I'm able. Video. The screen is, I don't even know what you are saying right now. All right, hello. Enable waiting room, share screen. So try again, Afif. Let's see if you can share your screen. allow participants to share screen. All right, so that's on. Hello, are you there? Hello? Oh, everyone has gone on break. Are you guys still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. Hello, Nada.
I'm with you, sir.
You're just quiet. Are you okay?
Very fine.
Are you asking me, or are you meditating?
I have a question, sir.
All right, yes. Ask your question.
Yes, sir. I want to ask, when you are mentioning organizational units, there is this thing I do here. I think I saw it in something on network, sir. OUI, Organizational Unique Identifier or something. Is it like the same?
Organizational unit is what we just explained here now. Let's just leave it at that. You create a folder and then you can use it you can add members, you can add network objects as members so that you can manage them centrally for easy and efficient management.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. So what's today? Today is Tuesday.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Hafiz, have you shared your screen? Let us help Hafiz resolve the issue he has as part of the learning process. And I'm sure if we will post on media, the essence of posting on WhatsApp, your issues on WhatsApp is for your colleagues to help you, not for me. You don't imagine that I'll be available all day to help you guys resolve issues. It's only occasionally when I just come and I see it. I also have work now. In America, work is time. I mean, work is money. Time is money. So when you say, Mr. Akin, please help me resolve this, how many would I be able to do? Let it just be there for your colleagues to see and help you while I'm looking for my daily bread. And then the advantage for your colleagues is when you now claim, do you know that when you help somebody resolve issue and the person got the solution, that is to your credit? The experience that your employer expects you to have, it doesn't have to be within a corporate organization, do you know? As far as IT is concerned, that's the big advantage of IT. You don't have to work for IBM or work for Microsoft or work for Intel before you can have that experience. So the little things you share in the group, and I see some people helping people resolve issues. They are to your credit. You can put them on your CV because you are not lying. You actually have these experiences. You supported somebody to say, I have this problem, and then you rendered your support, and the problem was resolved. Put it on your CV. It's your experience. You did it. You helped. So why it's a challenge for me to be able to, the best I can do is gather you all and try and disseminate as much info as I can. It's a challenge for me to come and support you individually at this level, unless of course you are at this level. So why it's a challenge for me, it's also an opportunity for you to help resolve issues and claim that you have done it. In that case, you are not lying. The fact that you did it remotely or sitting in your room does not mean that it's not your experience. It is your experience. It's part of the experience. So when people post issues, we're still waiting for you to share screen. That's how we're discussing. So when people paste problems on the forum, please help them resolve it. And people who post, don't expect a carrier shoulder to always be there, waiting for you to post problems.
Hello, sir. Kama, speaking.
Aziz, Afiz, are you sharing your screen so that we can help you resolve your issue? Or should we go ahead with what we're doing? Is Afiz even there? Is he hearing me?
Hello, Mr. Aki.
Yes, can I hear?
Okay, sir. It's like I really want to know. First of all, thank you. I appreciate you for your kind gesture of rendering this quality training free of charge. Well, I want to ask whether is it possible to unveil the course outline to us so that those that can read ahead of a topic that will be discussed the next day or the next week and try as much as they can to do so.
Well,
No, that's not my approach to training. My approach to training is once I teach you, practice what I teach you. So I want to keep what I'm teaching you. What's another one for secret now? It's not something I want to.
Oh, okay. Secondly,
whatever we learn, just practice that and then get ready for whatever is coming next.
Okay. Then secondly, you made mention of UNIS. Is UNIS part of the scope?
What I'm teaching you here and the emphasis here is Windows. But IT does not end with Windows. IT goes beyond Windows. So UNIS is something we want to explore because, like I said in the advert, for some people, this training is just enough to enhance what they are doing now to get some basic IT job. But for some other persons, this is just an eye-opener and wow, this is good. I like this. I want to proceed. So for people who like to proceed, UNIS is an area to pursue as far as administration is concerned, moving beyond Windows network administration to network systems administration. Systems is not just about Windows, it's also about other things. UNIS comes in there. So broadly speaking, there are two kinds of operating systems: Windows operating system and Unix operating system. Within Unix, there are different flavors. So beyond Windows, which is for relatively small networks, the real operating system for big networks is Unix. So Linux is a Unix operating system. Unix is broad. Under Unix, there are different kinds of operating systems. So if you are learning Linux, then you are learning Unix.
What about? Hello, sir.
Yeah, am I done with the person who asked question?
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
All right.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Afis online, you said we have only two operating systems, Windows.
Afis, we are waiting for you to share your screen so that we can.
Quickly, yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I went to use myself as well.
Okay.
I quickly went to use myself. So can I share my screen now? And
Yeah,
okay,
share your screen.
Okay. You said you were okay before that. You said we have two types of operating system.
Yeah.
Windows and Unix.
Correct.
But I think there are several operating systems.
Like what and
what?
what?
About the one that what about the Macintosh? Macintosh is an operating system. Macintosh.
Macintosh.
Yes.
Apple Macintosh.
Apple, yes.
Okay. There are, broadly speaking, there are two kinds of server operating systems.
Okay.
So let me add server to be specific, so that when I say operating system, I'm not talking about Android.
That would be correct, because I studied computer science university, and we did a project that each student took many operating systems and deliberated on. Okay. So we have so many operating systems. So you are now saying it is
not really so many. Not really so many, to be honest. There are broadly two kinds of operating system. Every other kind of operating system will mostly fall under Unix. So whether you are calling it Sun Solaris, you are calling it IBM Unix, or you are calling it, they would mostly fall under Unix. They will mostly fall under Unix. Whether it's Linux, whether it's Ubuntu, whether it's Red Hat, they are all under Unix. So broadly speaking, not broadly now, more specifically speaking, you'd have two popular types, because we are going to cloud, we are going to higher things. So the earlier you begin to remove the old things you know and replace them with new things, the more you can adapt to the place we are going. Don't stick with your old stuff. There are newer stuff. So there are two kinds of operating systems, server operating systems, and the popular one will hire you for any other thing other than one, Windows, and then two, Linux, two Unix. What kind of Unix? Can be one of the many kinds of Unix available.
You have to.
All right, so finally, let's share your screen. While we look for this person that is...
Yeah.
Share your screen quickly. Let's see if we can resolve your issue.
Cannot start screen sharing while others participating is sharing. Who else is sharing on the other side?
Why can't you share screen? Let me look around again to see what the problem is.
Zoom settings.
Okay, let me remove my own sharing. Give me 1 second. Let me do this. Okay, try again. Enable. Yeah, should work. Guys.
Cannot start sharing the screen
You
sharing.
cannot share?
Yes, sir.
Why
So
not?
while the other participating is sharing.
Okay, let me not share then.
Participant.
Pause share, maybe. Try again. Let's try again. Okay, I think I know what I'll do. So instead of sharing with everybody, let me share specifically with you. Stop video, rename, pin, make host. Okay. Try again. It should work this time.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so maximize this.
I've tried to do that.
So what's the problem you're having?
That's the problem. It cannot go beyond this, and I've done all the. In fact, I've been working on this. No, it started
Is this
today.
the problem you brought us to?
Yes, sir.
It's not a problem.
You've not added other something.
Maximize it. Click the maximize. Click the other one, the one up. Can you see my own screen? Far top, right. Far, up. The last corner on maximize. Maximize. Then maximize this one again. Yeah. Why are you clicking the wrong things? Maximize now. Go up outside that box.
Okay, outside this box.
Just keep maximizing. That is not a problem. Where's your cursor, bros?
It's up.
Where's your pointer?
This is my pointer.
There's a maximize button top right now. Can't you see it?
Top.
Get out of the box. Maximize that one. Then maximize this one again now. Is that the problem you brought us to come and solve?
I've tried all the best.
All right, religious. Any other person with a problem? The doctor is here. Oh, yeah. Yes, please. You want to take the screen over?
Not specifically. It's just about the my client and the DC server. I was trying to like run, concurrently, and that didn't work. My laptop just kept hanging.
Okay, yeah. You cannot start screen. Okay, so the issue is likely to be that your RAM, your resources, generally speaking, and specifically your RAM, is too small to run 2 servers concurrently. 2 VMs concurrently. So what I tried to do to solve that problem was to, instead of loading your 2 virtual machines, we load your server as your virtual machine, and then we use your host machine to connect to your server. Okay. So the problem I had, which I guess you all also have, is my host machine is running Windows 10 Home, not Enterprise version. Somebody asked, and we said it has to be Enterprise version. It's only with Enterprise version that you can join the domain you can connect with the domain controller as domain. So because I'm not running Enterprise version of Windows on my host, I'm not able to complete that. And then when I try to upgrade my host OS to enterprise version, they were asking me to pay $99. I don't want to pay $99 for that. $99.
Okay, sir.
Please hold on.
Okay.
So back to the question. If I was able to do that, then it would have been easy to load just one virtual machine instead of loading two virtual machines. And then you'll be able to use your host as your server, as your client to connect. So since we are not able to do that, and if I say reduce your RAM allocation to your virtual machine from 2 gig, what's the space of your RAM? What's the capacity of your RAM on your laptop? 4 gig? 4,
Yes,
right?
and I checked how much space I have left. I have like 366 left. So apparently I don't have enough space.
That's your hard drive, not your hard drive.
Left. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm going to say that. So if 366 gig, then you are not talking about RAM. When you're talking about RAM, it's something like 4 gig, 16 gig, 32 gig. By the time you begin to get to 64 gig, that's enormous RAM, enormous, massive. So anytime you are talking 300 gig, 250 gig, 100 gig, then it's not RAM. You are talking about hard disk. So your hard disk space is good enough. Your processor apparently is good enough, but the problem you are having is your RAM space. 4 gig, they sound big, but for 2 virtual machines, it's small.
So in real life scenario, I'm giving this kind of work. That means I'm just going to get stuck, or I get
What kind of work are you talking about? If you are giving a real life scenario?
like having to run the client and the DC server at once. Now I'm giving like I'm in a real life scenario, and I have to do that.
Yeah, in real life scenario, they call you and say, our consultant, this is the issue I'm having. Your solution is go and your RAM is too small. So you either increase your RAM or get a more robust infrastructure like 32 meg or 64 meg RAM that can support multiple VMs at once. So in real life scenario, you don't even have to do anything. Just sit there and tell them you're not ready for work. When you're ready, call me. How do they get ready? By getting a higher capacity RAM machine for multiple VMs.
All right, sir.
So they will not call you in because in real life scenario, they already have the infrastructure ready and everything is running fine, but they're having problems. That's why they call you. But for the infrastructure not to be ready or for them not to have met the minimum requirements that will help their app run, then they have not even started. So what they should be calling you for is a consultant or worker. We need to run 3 virtual machines concurrently all the time on our host. What should we do? So if you were the person that advised them, go and get a 4 gig RAM laptop, then you have missed it. Don't ever tell them 4 gig. From this experience, 4 gig is too small. So you mention to them, if that's what you want, I see what I can do. But first of all, you go and get a 32 gig RAM system, and then we'll take it from there.
All right, sir. Thank you.
It's part of the architecture.
Good afternoon, sir.
So it would have been really interesting for me to be able to show you that you can have a virtual machine. You can have a virtual machine as server, and then you know what I mean by host? Your real laptop,
yes,
your host.
Yes.
Why it would have been interesting. But unfortunately, Microsoft won't let me do that. You may be able to find your way around because you have computer village, but we don't do stuff like that. We have to buy. So maybe you can try your hands to see how fascinating it would be to be able to connect your host to your. I'm able to connect already. I can ping, they can see each other, I can transfer files. But to join them in the domain radio button is grayed out. And then it tells me this is a home version of Windows 10. You cannot do it. So what's the answer to that question? The answer is to be able to do it, I need an enterprise version of Windows 10. And if I click upgrade my Windows 10 to enterprise version, and then to tell me, pay me $99. And I said, no, I don't want to pay $99. I clicked something else, and then it told me pay $205. So you try it and come back and tell me, I was able to join it. It would be so interesting.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Thank you. You are just in a hurry to ask your question. All this one I'm talking about is not the entire. So are you going to try that? Who is going to try to upgrade your Windows 10 home version to your enterprise version? Who is going to try to do that? Or if I don't even understand what I'm saying, who understands what I mean, what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Nasiru, you got what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Who else? Who else understands?
I understand.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else understands?
I understand. I understand what they mean.
All right.
Yeah.
So who is going to go ahead and practice and tell me I was able to do it successfully? Nobody. All right. No.
Well, mostly, yeah. I'll try that.
My challenge is actually using a domain system, so I can't disjoin. Yeah. That's my own challenge. Else, I would have loved to do it.
What do you mean you are using a domain system?
Yes, I'm actually using my organization
already joined to the domain.
Sorry?
I'm using my organization system. So that's why.
Okay. All right. So you can ask your question now. The person who wanted to ask question.
So my question is, from the previous classes, we pinged from client to server, and it was successful, and server to client. But while I was trying out some things, I was able to browse on the server, but I couldn't browse on the client system. What could have been the issue? So
the same thing you did on the server that made it browse as a server individually, as a VM. Do it also on the client now, so that the client also will be able to browse.
Okay, that means I need to enable NAT.
That is it. That's the answer.
Oh, sir?
That's the answer. That's correct.
Okay. I actually did that and it worked. So I was thinking maybe, okay, thank you so much. All right. Thank you.
So now you know, anytime anybody has that problem and you see enable NAT, you have solved the problem.
All right.
So good interview question would be, I set up my VM, everything is working fine. I ping from one system to, they will paint the picture to remove your mind from NAT.
Yeah.
They tell you, I pinged, the system is seeing the client is seeing the server is seeing the client. I even browsed from the server and it worked. However, I wasn't able to browse.
Browse on the client. Okay.
So because they have explained, they've distracted, they've moved your mind away.
Yeah.
From whatever it was to pinging and everything, your mind will not go to NAT.
Okay, exactly.
And then once you're able to say, all you do, just configure NAT, and they say, wow, you know it. And then to the next question.
It actually took me like 3 days to get it resolved as well.
Wow. And you'd have tried a lot of things in those 3 days, right?
A
lot.
Those
things that you tried that failed, that is the learning.
A lot.
That is the learning.
Thank you so much. Thanks for this.
And then eventually, you click it and it works, and you are wondering, is it this simple? That is it. That feeling of, you mean it's this simple? That is the feeling, yeah.
All right. No, but how far, but how well?
Sometimes the farther it is, the better. Because the things you pick along the way, as you are wandering in the wrong direction, by the time you come back to the right direction, you still see, oh, if I didn't take that long route, I wouldn't have known this. But of course, you get to a level where you become so comfortable, and it's no longer about how far. It now becomes how well. All right. All right, questions? No questions. Okay, so now let me take you to policies. Back to class. Questions. I need two more questions before we can continue. Where's my 2 more questions? And then 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Start to count now. 2 minutes, and then I'll be.
Yeah. Hello. Can I just speaking? Hello.
All right. Thank you. I'm back now. Just one question before you ask your question. I need to join my host as a client on my domain, okay, I need to join my host machine as a client on my virtual domain. I don't know if let me see if you understand that picture. What is the most important? Of course, there are so many things I could check to ensure that is possible. What's the most important task I must perform to make that possible? Anybody? Once I get the right answer, we'll stop. If I don't get the right answer, we'll keep asking.
Is it the IP address?
Don't ask me, Joe. This is an interview. You tell me categorically, this is it. It's not guesswork. All right. Who is going to try?
Rephrase the question again, sir.
Who understands the question? Hello, what's going on? Are you guys there?
The network address of the.
You are letting my spirit down.
The network address of the client must be similar to the network address of the server.
So what should I do? That's the question.
I need to ensure that the two systems can communicate either by pinging their IP addresses.
What should I do? What should I do?
Is to change the other IP address to make sure they have the same IP address.
Change which IP address? What do you mean the other? Your answers are never complete.
The other user.
So say it in a complete format. The way you will.
Within the same subnet.
To check.
To ensure that they are on the same network.
What exactly should I do? What's to? Is that how you answer interviewing questions?
The question again, sir.
Whoever understands the question, answer it. What should I do? That question that I asked. Because if you do not understand the question, you have already failed the I speak IT language. At interview, they don't repeat questions.
To change the NAT internet cable to host base.
You don't start your statement with to.
Okay.
What would you do? In fact, what would you do? Maybe you understand it like that.
I will change the internet adapter to a host-based virtual adapter.
I said, what's the most important thing I should do? That's not the most important thing. The internet to achieve the goal I set out to achieve. What's the most important thing I should do to achieve that goal?
You must assign an IP to them be under the same domain. Assign an IP to make sure they are under the assign an IP to make sure they are under the same class.
What would you do? What would you do to achieve that goal? Hello?
To achieve that goal is to get the Windows server.
An enterprise operating system.
What would you do? I'm going to end this course this week. I'm not impressed at all with your performance. So whatever I can teach you today, tomorrow, that's the end of the course. Looks like I'm wasting my time here. If amongst 30 people, you cannot tell me the correct answer to that simple question, then what am I teaching you for? I just come here, speak English, you clap for me. And then at the end of the day, I cannot boastfully say I have trained people that can do stuff.
So we don't really understand that question.
Then you are not even following. So 0/10, because I asked a question in plain language, you don't understand me. So it's part of it. I deliberately am not repeating the question because you should understand an IT person when he speaks. If you do not understand him, then you cannot.
Your host operating system must be running on an enterprise version.
That was the most important thing. What was my host operating system running before I said it? Yeah, that's good. But what's the most important thing I must do beyond that? I did not say list all the things I could do. What's the most important thing I must do to make my host, to join my host as a client to the virtual domain?
So you create a network.
I ensure that the OS is capable of joining the domain. I check and ensure that it's either professional or enterprise.
What would I do? You are just talking. You are not talking technical. What should I do?
I think we need to ensure that the IP.
What would you do?
Upgrade my host operating system.
I will. So your statement starts with I will. Any other thing you are guessing. You are guessing. You are not sure. Tell me categorically. This is what I will do.
Okay, I will ensure that
don't ensure. What would you do?
Okay, I will upgrade my host operating system to an enterprise version.
Wrong answer. Sanusi, go on.
Make the IP address of the same type.
Nasiru, go on. What did you say?
I will make the IP address of the same type.
Correct.
From the host.
Correct. So that's what Anne was trying to say, but Anne wasn't. Now you told me I will do this. That's what I expect. I will. This is what I'll do. You don't ask. You don't guess. You don't tell me. I'm asking you. Are guessing. Is it the IP address? That's guesswork.
Right, sir.
I mean, this is what I would.
Okay, you started your. Now let me go on this. I'm actually the lecture. Yes. Talk my motion.
Come on, what's going on here?
I need to leave you. You did not my office.
Us sharing. Are you guys are seeing my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So who is freezing me? Why am I not able to
screen? I can't see your screen.
You see the video on my screen? Let me share my. Oh, I didn't take the screen over from okay. What can you see now?
You can see your screen now.
Yes, we can see your desktop now.
Yeah, my desktop. Okay. Do you see the video on my desktop now? Do you see your photos?
No, sir.
Hmm?
No, sir. I can't see any video on your desktop.
Okay, that only means I'm the only one saying that. So Nasiru.
Yes, sir.
That's what you will do. That's what you will do.
All right.
That's what you will do.
Exactly. All right.
What question can be simpler than that? What would you do? You are giving me story, and you are guessing. You are not guessing. That's not how to answer interview questions. And then you don't tell me you don't understand me when I ask questions. You are training for a purpose. You are not just training. The essence of the training is not for me to impress you. The essence of the training is for you to learn something that you are taking away from here. Something we can say, I need a system engineer, or I need and I can say, have you tried this person? But the way you are answering questions, I cannot even say, have you tried this person? When I say, what would you do? You tell me, I will do this. This is what I will do. You don't ask me questions. You don't guess. So you would, how did you put it, Nasiru? Let's come again with that so that
I said, I will make the IP address of the same type.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very good answer. That's what you would do. My host is already running an operating system and say I want to join it to domain. And you are telling me to look. Yeah, other answers may be correct, but this is the most correct. Other answers are half-baked. Please get value. Get value. I should be impressed with you as much, in fact, more than you are impressed with me. Be able to say, yes, I have made an impact. All right, so what else? What else? So how do I now ensure that, what's the next, how do I implement that? Okay, so Nasiru tells Uyo. All right, so this is what you should do. You go back to your machine and then you start to implement what Nasiru recommended to you. How are you going to implement that? How are you going to implement what Nasiru said he would do? You have it is dropped and you oh, that's the solution. Now you go and you want to implement that solution. What exactly do you do?
I'll go to the
network and adapter settings.
I'll go to the client, to the host machine and the client machine, and
host machine.
I would impute IP config. Then I would impute the IP numbers there.
Impute IP config to where?
On the client.
What's the client?
I mean the server and on the server.
Okay. And then what do you do from there?
Then,
why are you imputing IP config? Why are you entering IP config?
That's because I want to know my IP number.
IP address.
IP address.
Okay, so that you now know what to ask from what you know there. You now know what IP address to assign to
the client,
the host.
To the host, yes.
Okay. And then the host will become your client. Okay, that makes. So now you see the difference between host and client, right?
Yes,
host
sir.
Client. Okay. So you are trying to make your host your client. Is somebody telling you answers there? Who else is telling you?
No. So I'm alone.
Somebody else is talking here. If I ask the person now, you will not talk. You will be looking. But your answer is correct.
I was the one speaking.
So you are right. So you go to this domain controller, the server, enter IP configs, just so you know what the IP address is. And then you can now assign a similar address. Know what address to assign to the host. So that you can now make the host your client on the domain. Good. Thank you. All right. So let's go a step further. So back to our domain controller. Let me show you one more thing, and then you can go and practice. So let me this another one. So share screen, domain controller. This is our domain controller. So I say insert control delete my password. All right. All right. So here, I want to show you something now. That's a bit, we're actually done with the basics. From now on, we're moving to not really advanced, a higher level of understanding, a higher level of administration. No, not higher, but not like advanced, like the mid level. So we're done with the basics of the basics of network administration. We're going a bit advanced now. All right, so to go a bit advanced, let me show you what I want to show you here is what do I want to show you? Security group. I want to show you security group. Security group. So I come to the domain. No, not here. Sorry. So we're done here. All right. So remember how to load your server manager. So here I come to tools. I come to, where do I go from here? Okay, let's see. Active Directory. Group policy management. So under group policy management, this is where you do anything that you want to affect the entire domain. If there is something you want to implement, not just on your computer or not just on your user, but to be effective on the entire domain, the client server network of all the 500 computers on your network. You want to implement something that will affect all of them at the same time. You come to group security management. All right. So we right click. We have domains, we have sites. Okay, what am I looking for? Whatever I'm looking to do is something that will affect the domain. So I'll be looking at not the forest, but the domain. So let's click domain. What if I right click here? I right click the domain, whether I right click on that side or on this side. Should be the same thing, not exactly the same thing, but let's right click on this side. So create group policy in this domain, group policy modeling wizard, new organizational unit. We already knew how to create that from, of course, also Active Directory users and computers. So what do I want for this domain? Manage, operate. Wow, so much I can do here. So many things I can do here. Okay. Group policy results, group policy modeling, sites, this domain. Okay. Domain. Link an existing group policy domain, new organizational unit. You can create new organizational unit, change domain controller, Active Directory users and computers. A bit confusing. I'm not sure which of them I need to do that. So let's see properties. All right. At this stage, let me quickly look at that's my manual, network administration. All right. So I'm going to have to copy this for you. So that okay, this is what I want to copy. Group policy management. Group policy management. Let me copy this for you. That's what I want to teach you. Control C. I don't do it now, I may forget. What am I going? Web. So I'm trying to copy that place. If finding the right place was that hard for me, then I can imagine it to be harder for you. So let me just copy it for you so that you know exactly where to go. So I'm loading retry. Try this. Okay, let me log out. I'm logging into the WhatsApp group. Oh, okay, I'm off. Let me log on to the WhatsApp group. So I'll paste that link on the WhatsApp group so that you know where to click when you get it. Just practice it 4, 5, 7 times and then you get used to it. All right, so I'm in here. So I can remember. So Control V. All right, so I sent it to the group. I've sent the link to the group. So for group policy management, now I have it from the group. Server manager, tools, group policy management, domain name, domain controller, default domain controller. All right, all right. Now I know it. Sorry about that. So let me come back to, I should click default domain controller. Share screen. All right. Where's my? All right. So let's start again. So I say tools, group policy management, group policy management, domain. So I'm looking for default domain controller. All right. Domain. There it is now. Domain. I'm looking for default domain controller. Show domains. Manage backups. Open. View. Default. Okay, let me take a look again. So, so group policy, tools, group management, domain name. What's the domain name? What's our domain name?
COVID-19.
Our domain name. Yeah, that's COVID-19. Then there's something wrong. There's a problem here. The thing I'm looking for is not here. Oh. Okay. Sorry about that. So all this while I should have double clicked, right? So double click COVID-19.com domain name, and then we'll say domain controller. All right. So under domain controller, we'll take default. So how come it was, why did it take me so long to get it? Let's start again. What did I, no. Okay, so we're here. What do I click from here? Server manager, right? Just to make sure you have all the tools you need. That's why you need to load down, but it's not really compulsory. So you come to tools and you see group policy management. I don't want it to be hard for you like it was hard for me. So I'm just trying to look for what did we do wrong so that we eliminate that. So this was what we saw, right? And then we open the forest. And then we open domain. Why was I not seeing this? This is what I was seeing. Okay. So this is the difference. Okay, I think I found what I was doing wrong. Now there is this arrow. Do you see this arrow? Is it too tiny for you to see? Please talk to me.
You can see.
You see this arrow beside, that's what I should have clicked instead of clicking the actual. But right now it's working. Anyway, just be careful here, please. This is where the confusion came from. Because once I know the right place to click, the whole thing is easy. So now I double click, it's working, but the other time it didn't work. So whether I choose the arrow or I double click, it should work and open this, because what I was looking for all through was this domain controller. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So why did it take so hard? Why did it take so much work for me to see what I was looking for? Well, in any case, that is what I'm looking for. So we'll say domain controller. Please mute yourself. So we say domain controllers, and then after domain controller, they see an arrow. Mute yourself, please. And then we'll now say default domain controller. And then default domain controller this way. Please just learn how to get here. Once you can get here, then you have arrived. Then you right click that. When you say default domain controller, you now right click and then you take okay, let's default. Yeah. COVID-19 default domain policy. Okay. Group policy network console. Don't show this. You have selected a link to a group policy network. Okay. Let me answer these questions. Domain controllers. So I should right click this. I see edit, link enabled. So I right click, edit. I've clicked I've copied the link for you. So just follow that link. Okay, so now I click computer configuration. Then I'm following the link now. I'm not pretending to do it from my head now. So the link that I copied for you, that's what I'm following directly. All right, so you may have to keep that link so that I know how to do this. I've spent so much time trying to guess. So I follow the link. So I click edit computer configuration policies, Windows settings. So edit computer configuration, policies, Windows settings. So where am I now? Then security settings. Policies, Windows settings, then security settings. Where's security settings? Yeah. All right. So this way I'm bringing you to. Wow. All right, so let me start again. This time I'm following the link that I gave to you. So I tried to do it from my head. I didn't get it. So let me follow the link. So the link that I've put on the group now, it says I should click tools. So I'm ready from the link. Group policy management. So where is group policy management? That's it. Then after that, what? Still loading. Where's group policy management? Did I click it? Okay, it's loaded in the back. It's loaded in the background. So after group policy management, it says domain name. This is the domain name. Then domain controllers. This is domain controllers. Default domain controllers. This is default domain controllers. Then it says right click. And then it says edit. And then it says computer configuration. Then it says Windows settings. Policies. Windows settings. Windows settings. Security settings. Local policies. So once we get here, this is where we're going. All right, so follow that link. So when the link brings you here, you can now say account policies, local policies, event log. These are the first three we're going to look at. So when Anne asked about event log, I said I was going to show her this is the place. So let's start from the top. Account policies. Under account policies, you have password policies. Let's double click. What does this mean? Enforce password history, minimum password age, minimum password, maximum password age, minimum password age. Okay, let's just double click there and see. So here you can set the minimum age for your password. If you leave it at 0 and without configuring, then it means that you have not set any minimum age. Password length. You can say here, your password must be at least 3 characters or 8 characters long. So sometimes you go to websites like bank apps and you try to enter a password that is only 4 characters long. It tells you, no, your password must be at least 8 characters long. It is because your administrator, as part of the policies, you're talking about how do we govern, how do we regulate the administrator to make sure he's working according to password policies, according to the security policies, but not just security policies, according to the IT policies set up by the company. This is where you come to implement the IT policies of the company. To say users, irrespective of where they are logging in from, must have entered this minimum character as password. That's what you call password complexity requirements. I deliberately avoided that, but the system could be such that you must enter capital letter, small letters, characters, and if you don't meet all of those requirements, it will not allow you to log in. If that is too complex for our domain, we can come here and say disable complexity requirements. So if you come here and disable it or enable it, then you can say all of this is part of security measures to make sure that users on this domain, whether they are customers of the bank or they are regular staff of the bank, whatever this domain is serving, the people who are able to log in must obey and meet this minimum requirement. So it's up to you whether you use them. Whether you use them or you don't use them will depend on the policy that has been drawn by the board of directors or by the IT consultants working with the management of the company to say these are the things we must implement on this domain to make sure that it meets our policies. So all the policies that are on paper, they will be implemented there. The ones that we're implementing right now are the ones that have to do with passwords. Under account policies, we have password policy. So your password policy, this is where you find it. Now, I'm not going to implement any of them, but it's just there as tools for you to know that this is where you go to implement them. All right? So if my next question now is, as the security consultant for this domain, I come in There are so many, I look at the log files and I see that, wow, so many security breaches. And it's so easy for people to log in to this domain and do things that they shouldn't do. So as a security consultant, one of the first things I'm going to look at is come here and say, man, these your security policies are not rigid enough at all. So I'm going to come here to the password policies, for example, and I'm going to say password must meet complexity. I'm going to come here and I say define, and I'm going to say enable. Maybe because it was disabled before, or your company was not even aware that they could make password policies very, very strict. And I can come here and I say, I can apply that. I didn't want to apply, but let me just apply. And I can come and say, anybody can just enter any simple password and get away with it. No. I can come here and say, from now on, your password must be at least 10 characters long. I define and I say 10 characters long. So anybody that is going to make a password of 10 characters must be a serious person. So the idea of using D as password, that era is over. I say, remember that whatever I apply here is not just affecting this system or a particular user, it's affecting the entire domain. So I can set the rules to be very, very strict here, so that even when you have to guess passwords, you have there's a permutation and combination formula that tells you that when you are guessing a password of 3 characters, maybe you try 15, 20 times and you could luckily get it. But if you are trying to guess a password, a complex password of 10 characters, then you may have to try 1 million times before you can guess right. So who will want to try 1 million times? So the security policy, this is a very crucial part. That's why I'm explaining it. This is not just the level of network administration. This is at the level of security now. So in addition to being a network administrator, you are now also a Windows security specialist when you know that these tools exist and you know how to use them. All right, so you can come here and set your password to be strict so that the porosity of the porous access nature to your domain is reduced. All right, so experiment with that, set your password policies, and so on and so forth. Another thing you want to do apart from setting your password policies, making them strict or relaxing them, another thing that is possible to do under security policies is your local policies. So I can come to local policies and I say audit policies, audit account login events. I can say all events should be logged, double click. All right, so why is the double clicking not working? So ideally I should just double click and it should work. Anyway, so double click. So here I can say audit, what kind of login policy do I want to set for logon? Is it only when login is successful that is when it should be audited, or you don't want to bother about success but about failures, or for both? If you say for both, it's okay. It just means that you have so much work to do when you are looking through the log files to see, because if there is a security breach, overnight you see that somebody has logged into your network to move money or has done something, and you want to check who did it at what time, then your focus at that time would be on success. Okay, which show me I want to audit all log-ons that were successful. But if you want to find out how many failed attempts were made to break into this network within the next 24 hours, in that case, your focus will be failure. But sometimes you may be interested in both of them. So you can say, I need you to audit both successful and failed login attempts. You just have more work to do. Or audit account management. Okay, so what kind of course, you can get the explanation of what this does. These things I'm trying to explain to you now. If I didn't explain them or you didn't understand the explanation, you can read here to understand what all this is. And then you know, oh, so if I set this one if I define it here, I can, this is the tool. These things are tools. They are available for you to use. It doesn't mean that you must use them. But when you need to use them, this is where they are available. A guy that wants to set up the faculty stuff, you may want to say, okay, now that I have my project running, who is using this and what are they trying to access? These are the tools that are available. Okay, audit directory services, audit logon events. Every logon event, as long as you have been logged on, you want to be able to audit it. They are here. Audit policy change. These policies that we're talking about that we are modifying right now. If somebody comes here to modify them, you want to see who did it, at what time was it done, by whom. You need all of this information as administrator to be able to do your work. Fine. Again, who determines what to set here? It is your the IT policy of the organization that determines what you come here to say. All right, so let's go back to security settings and then event logon. Okay, before then, user rights assignment. This is kind of long, but again, they are there. They are there for you to use. Allow logon locally. Okay, so it is possible that on your machine in the domain, even though it is possible generally, like I said, for that machine to be able to log on locally as well as to the domain, you can come here and say, I do not want people to be able to log on locally. I want them to be able to use machines to log on only as clients. So you can define that under who is allowed to log in locally. So the things that you see by default, they can be modified to be different. In other words, you work on a domain on UBA domain, the things that you are used to there, by the time they transfer you to Zenith Bank, they are different. They are not the same things. In UBA, you needed to press Control or Delete before you can log in. But in Zenith, on Zenith domain, you don't need to. The password screen is already waiting for you. Just enter the password screen and you are done. Because somebody has modified those settings here. It will be difficult for me to take you through them one by one. But just know that they are here. And then you can just say, shut down system. For example, what does that do? Shut down system, define 3, administrator. So these are the people that can shut down your system. So if you come in as a user and you want to shut down system, it's not possible. But if you now want to, anybody should be able to shut down system. Now, what's the big deal? Then you can come here and add users. Okay? Akin should be able to shut down system or everyone. Okay, we'll talk about everyone later, but I'm just showing you. I say everybody or domain users. Anyone who has an account on this domain should be able to shut down user. So you can come here and say domain users. Okay, don't worry, I'll look at this in details later, but I'm just showing you that the tools here, you can determine that even though in UBA, only administrators, backup operators, print operators, and server operators are able to shut down users, in Zenith Bank, somebody has added all users so that anybody can shut down systems. So it just depends on what you set under your security policies. Log on as bad job, deny, log on locally, okay, and so on and so forth. All things are possible for the administrator because he has access to these tools that make all things possible. Again, these tools are just there for you to use if you need to use them. It doesn't mean that you must implement all of them one by one in order to be administrator. What you implement here for the 7th time, I'm saying it, would depend on the IT policy of the organization. The IT policy of the organization. You are only coming here to implement the IT policy of the place that you work for, okay? And then let's go back one step again. And then account policies. So that's under local policy. Don't worry about this one. That's too advanced for you. Really advanced. And then go back to security policy, local policies. And then security options. Again, these are many, many tools. Just take a look at them because anything you set here will affect your entire domain. But just know that they are there for you to use. It's not for me to teach you, we use one by one. It's your toolbox. Everything I'm showing you here now is your toolbox. You want to know how to use the screwdriver, the spinner, the wheel spanner, everything. Come here one by one and see that they are available, so that when you need to use them, you know that they are there. They are not things that you must know or you must first of all implement before announcing you are a network administrator. They are tools. All right. So to be able to come here and explore this further, don't worry about all of them because you are just entry-level administrators. There are so many things you shouldn't worry about now that you do later. For now, just get used to the first 1, 2, 3. Again, to get here so that you can take a deeper look and see what is possible and what is not possible and experiment with some of them. Let me take you through it one more time so that you know that you can get it. To help you do that, let me close this one more time before I give you a chance to ask questions. Let me close this, all right? Then I'll read that. Let me read that link again that I showed you. Although I'm able to, haven't done it now, I'm able to do it by myself, but for you, you'll not be able to. You will not be able to. So let me go to that link. So I'm reading from that link now that I already made available. It says group policy management, server management tools, group policy management. So I go to group policy management, and then it says domain name. Where's our domain name here? This one. And then, of course, before all these ones will show, we're just assuming that they are not showing yet. So you click domain name, and then domain name, domain controllers. Then this is domain controller. Look at it there. You open it, and then you find default domain controller. Default domain controller. When you find this default domain controller, you right-click it, and you see edit. That brings a new window. Under the new window, what do? Computer configuration, you double-click. Computer configuration. Policies, you double-click. Windows security settings, you double-click. Security settings, okay, somebody already knows it, but I'm just deliberately going through the script just to make sure, just to let you know I didn't deceive you. I've given you everything. Then local policies. Then once you get here, you have arrived. This is where you are coming to. So what you want to be able to do here is get used to local policies, account policies, local policies, and event log. I will not be able to tell you one by one what's available there. I've shown you. I'll open the toolbox for you. You go there and see what's available and experiment with what you can do there. That is what makes you not just an ordinary administrator as you are now, but a higher value, a higher price, a higher category administrator. Because in addition to those basic things, you now know where to find tools that you need when you need them. All right, so I wrote you through that, and I've been able to cover what I really needed to cover today. Questions?
More.
Questions? All right, so ask your questions. The important thing for me, group policy management, is that you know how to get to those tools so that you can settle down, spend 1 hour, 2 hours, and look at them and understand that they are there. So if somebody asks you, a good question to see your higher levels understanding of administration would be, I need, as part of, it's called hardening. As part of the hardening process for my domain, I need to implement a complex password policy.
Okay.
As my Windows network administrator that I intend to hire, how would you implement complex password policy for me? So you tell me, oh, I know where to go. I'll go to group security management, and then I'll find my way by all this right-clicking and all of that to where? Security settings, and then I'll go and implement it under security password policy. So telling me that tells me that you know what you are doing. You can get there. And if I give you 10 minutes, you'll be able to find your way around and get to implement that thing you just explained to me. So that's just the idea. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Questions? Yeah.
Yes. Earlier, the question you asked as regards the host communicating with the client.
Okay.
I wanted to know, were you using the host interchangeably with the server?
No. By the host, I mean that you are in a virtual environment where you have created a virtual machine.
Okay.
And that your virtual machine has been promoted from server to domain controller.
So domain controller.
So instead of creating another virtual machine and making it client like we do normally here, I want to make my hardware, my laptop, a client to that virtual
machine
domain controller.
Okay.
You know, you wouldn't normally reason like that. You want to make a virtual machine client to virtual machine domain controller. So I say, don't worry about the virtual machine. Make my hardware, my laptop, my host, the client.
Clients. Okay.
Yeah. And that's where I said earlier on that I tried to do that. The difficulty I had was to make my host a client to this domain controller. My host needs to run Windows 10 Enterprise. And I found out my host runs Windows 10 Home. And therefore, I was not able to join it to domain because of that problem.
Okay.
So in order to upgrade my host OS from Windows Home to Windows Enterprise, I was asked to pay $99, which I don't want to.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Questions? So, Anne, you'll not be able to go. Are you not able to find your way to these places where I showed you?
Yes, sir.
Security policies, and then you can change your password.
Yeah, I can do it even without the link.
Oh, even without the link. So you know this thing more than me. Don't worry, me too. I know it. It's just that maybe it just happened not to work. So even without the link, you know it. Then you are good. As far as Windows administration is concerned. But even those that do not know it without the link, I assure you that after you practice it 2-3 times, it will stick. I've been practicing these things since 2000, so it is there. You just want to disgrace me in front of you, but
hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Bangoshi Olanroa Disiki.
Yeah. Quickly, we are done with it. All right. So, any other question? Bangoshi is taking our time. Questions. Dukwe allow. Already exhausted our time by 9 minutes. So let me just take last minute question before Bangoshi comes. Or is the system freezing? Are you guys still hearing me? Oh, system.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Question.
Loud and clear.
All right. Hafiz, did you follow that?
I follow.
All right. So practice that, and then let's see the outcome. So 2 more things I got to teach you, and then we'll be done with Windows Server. I want to teach you 2 more classes, not 2 more things. 2 more classes, and then of course, we are meeting tomorrow. I'm not sure about Thursday. It's likely we'll meet on Thursday. We can meet tomorrow and Thursday. We would have covered the things fundamentally, and then I'll just give you more time to practice and bring your questions to class just to make sure everybody is good.
Hello, sir.
Right? If there are no more questions, that's it. Yeah,
yes. So the assignment you placed on the WhatsApp group. Yes, is aside from the fact that we are going to practice with it, are we to bring it to just for personal practice? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Questions? So are you able to find your way to the places where you can learn those security policy implementation?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So who else is there?
Sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Olasu coming.
Yes, I really appreciate your effort in trying to make sure that at least we get something into our mind, to our knowledge. But my question is that with all these policies, you find you are trying to just show us some stuff around. Is it possible, maybe for some good reason, you just come in as an administrator and you enforce everybody to change their password?
To force everybody to change their password?
The password for some reason, for maybe good reason. Maybe they come in the morning and you just, sir?
I don't get the question. Is it possible to ask?
Yeah,
everybody?
I said, I believe you were trying to just show us a way around, like what we have learned today. But I just want to find out, like an administrator, I work in the morning and something happens for some good reason, and I want to force everybody to change their password.
Okay, you want to force everyone to change
their
like a security breach.
Yeah, you find like there had been a suspect security breach. Yeah, so if you want to do that, yeah, what's the question? Huh? Is it advisable?
Is it advisable?
Why not? Anything you can do as administrator to secure your network. Why not? Nobody's. So that will be under global security policy. Just do it somewhere so that once you log in, the system would prompt you to change your password. In fact, it's not only advisable, it's highly encouraged. So if you suspect security breach, yes, it's advisable.
Then quickly, sir. Fine, we're trying to show us the way around. Maybe quickly, if you can show us if we can have access to it. Like disabling users not to be able to log into two systems at the same time.
Two systems at the same time?
Yeah, the same user on two systems at the same time. What's the possibility of that?
Same user log into two systems at the same time.
Yeah, you disabling, maybe not allowing the user to log into the same system at the
same time. What's the default
time?
setting? Does the default setting allow users to log into two systems at the same time?
Well, that I just want to know, sir. It's just a question, sir.
I do not know. You go and practice it. Set up two clients on the domain, and then attempt with the same user account to log on to both machines at the same time. And then once you successfully do that, then you can come back and say that was. Normally, I would think that the default set is that you are able to log on only from a single machine. So you know what is possible, so that we're not just finding a solution for a problem that does not exist. All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much. So same time tomorrow, we'll do something higher, but I need you to practice this first. Anyone has a problem with joining computers to domain at this stage, at this level? So you are able to join computers to domain. So that's not the problem. All right. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, then.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Bye, sir.
All right.